everyone, welcome back to the Intentional Youth Ministry channel. So excited that you joined with us today. I want to continue our conversation that we had on the last one. If you have not seen that yet, you might want to hop on and check out the last video that I posted. But I want to continue on and kind of talk to you guys about a second side to this whole idea of the 25-50-25 principle. We talked about it really in the context of like a lens or a filter for how you would build your student ministries. I want to encourage you with the second side of it. It also has been a beneficial tool for me, and how do I gauge if my student ministry is really healthy and if it is really thriving. So here's how that works. I would say this, if you say, hey, is this, if you were to ask me, invite me to come in and spend some time with you and your team and come and experience the youth service that you had going on, and if you asked me like to give you my opinion on if it was really healthy and thriving, here's a question I might ask you. I would ask you, are you effectively reaching the unchurched and the lost? Are you then taking students somewhere on their journey, and are you helping them take steps to get closer in their walk with God? And lastly, do you have mature students? Do you have students who are spiritually mature, who are growing, who are in depth? Maybe there's like your core leaders and people like that. Do you have those three groups of people represented in your student ministry? If not, you might need to work in specific areas. So what I would encourage you with, again, going back to the 25-50-25, this is something that I use to start gauging how healthy our student ministry was. Instead of just guessing, right? Like, hey, like people are coming and some people are giving their lives to Christ, and we've had some people get baptized, and some people have, you get the idea. It was very elusive. It was just very kind of, it just wasn't a very intentional way for us to gauge the health. So what I started to do was think about how can we effectively and in a healthy way gauge if our student ministry as a whole is healthy. So again, 25-50-25. Here we go, ready? 25% of your student ministry, I would encourage that to be unchurched, lost. Like, I'm okay with, if I was to walk into your youth service, I'm okay with 25% of the room sitting with their, with their arms folded during worship, or standing in the back silently with their hands in their pocket and not engaging in worship. I'm okay with that, because what that says to me is that you're reaching some unchurched students, right? I'm okay with that. So 25% of the room, if you will, of your youth group, your youth ministry, are unreached. They're lost. They're the lost students who you were reaching. 50%. 50% of your entire student ministry, I would say they're growing, right? They're taking next steps, right? And so whatever next steps are in your context. So maybe for you that means, hey, you've got a student who started coming, they gave their life to Christ, but now they've really gotten involved in a small group, or they've taken some next step and they're involved in like your discipleship programming that you offer, or they've taken some next steps because they're starting to serve in some kind of a capacity. They're taking next steps in your ministry, and they're growing. They're somewhere in that process of growing in their walk with God, right? 50%. And then 25% of the students coming to your ministry are mature. And when I say mature, I understand you're a youth pastor, you're working with students. So understand when I say mature, I mean in the context of a student. But these are mature, 25%. And so I want to see 25% of your students that are really involved in your student leadership, right? They are not just serving, not just holding a door, not just smiling and doing like a first-time guest check-in, but I'm talking about they're actually leading. They're up on platform emceeing, they're speaking, they're the ones up there leading worship, leading their peers in worship. They're leading small groups. They're speaking, all those different opportunities, right? They're actually leading. They are leaders in your student ministry, right? Maybe for some of you, that's a little bit of a foreign concept. Trust me, I will definitely take some of our time on there and put some stuff up for you about student leadership, because I'm a huge fan of student leadership. But I believe this is a great way to gauge the health of your student ministry. So take a look, and some of this becomes a little bit, I guess, subjective, maybe that's the right word, subjective. So some of it is, right, it's more of a gut check. Like, it's pretty easy to go, hey, 25% are leaders. That's easy to gauge. The 50% is pretty easy to gauge as well, because it's based on students who are engaging in other opportunities that you're creating for them to grow in their walk with God. The 25% unchurched might be a little bit harder for you to gauge. That's more of a gut feeling sometimes, or maybe you can base that on how many students are giving their life to Christ and getting baptized, things like that in your student ministry. But again, just a healthy way in the past for me to gauge the overall health of my student ministry. Hopefully that encourages you, that helps you to really kind of get a good pulse on if your student ministry is healthy and thriving. Love you guys. Take care.